watching KITV Island News at 10.
House Republicans ousted Representative Beth Fukumoto as minority leader a week and a half after she was voted into that post. Good evening, I'm Yenji Denise.
And I'm Mike Cherry. Her supporters say she's being muzzled and punished for speaking her mind at the Women's March. KITV's Catherine Cruz was there for all the drama. All right, time to take a look outside. Big surf today, closing down some popular spots here on Oahu.
Yeah, we've got officer misconduct happening at an alarming rate inside of HPD.
Yeah, it was not a banner year for the department. According to a report by HPD, 10 officers were fired in 2016. Last year, 57 officers were disciplined for 41 incidents. That's nearly 5 per month. The charges ranged from malicious use of physical force to mistreatment of prisoners to drug use. An additional 15 officers are pending a discharge. The total number is a marginal decline from 2015, when 58 officers were disciplined in 58 cases. All right, here's a question for you. Who's going to be paying for the departing chief of police? And how will a new chief be found?
Those questions and more discussed at today's police.
In Maui today marked the first day that visitors needed reservations to watch the sunrise atop Haleakala. National Park Service officials say day one was a safety success. All 150 parking reservations were sold out by yesterday. 35 vehicles did not have reservations, and they had to wait until 7 a.m. to get into the park. Reservations are needed between 3 and 7 a.m. daily, and those in National Park Service officials say they're still working out kinks in that system, including what to do with no-shows. Right now, even though someone does not show up for their reservation, vehicles cannot be let in on a standby basis. Reservations must be made by 4 p.m. the day before.
Welcome back. The voyaging canoe Hokulea recently traveled through the locks of the Panama Canal. KITV's Paula Akana was there with the canoe's crew, and tonight she begins a series on this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Yeah,
tonight and each Wednesday in February, she'll be sharing their time in Panama, leading up, of course, to the canal transit. Tonight, meeting up with the canoe and preparing for their historic crossing.
We landed in Panama City. That's on the Pacific.
You're watching KITV Island News at 10.
Welcome back. Republican Betsy DeVos has been approved as Education Secretary, but the Senate's borderline vote could change that. 2 senators in DeVos's party say they oppose her nomination and that her lack of experience with public schools is, quote, a deep concern. They are the first sitting Republican senators to oppose Trump's cabinet pick.
The Secretary of Education.
The Senate committee voted 12 to 11. The vote will move to the Senate floor. If all other GOP senators support her and all Democrats oppose, DeVos will end up with a split vote, and Vice President Mike Pence would then have to break the tie to confirm her. Honolulu police have revealed when the department will finally clear a backlog of untested sexual assault kits. At one point, the department had 1,500 kits, some dating back more than a decade. Some remained untested after victims withdrew their complaint, while others were thrown away if the statute of limitations had passed on the assault. Now, there are rules to keep kits, even if a victim withdraws that complaint. And officers know when they will clear the current backlog of 800 sexual assault kits.
With sex assault kits by summer 2018.
Police also reported that in 60% of sexual assault cases, rape kits aren't administered because they are not given within 72 hours of the assault. But even with the use of those kits, it doesn't always mean a suspect will be arrested. In the latest batch of 150 kits that were tested, officers were only able to enter 9 samples of DNA into the national database to search for a suspect. Welcome back. All right, well, have you picked the winner of the 51st Super Bowl yet? Well, this mother-daughter duo already decided their favorite.
And you could say they've got the nose for it. Check it out. That's because they're rhinos. Tumani is the newest black rhino calf at the Blank Park Zoo in Des Moines, Iowa. She and her...
We have a pretty good track record. I think 4 out of 7 times we've picked correctly.
That is a terrible track record.
A little bit better than flipping a coin.
Tell you what, 1 time out of 20.
But this year, a house divided. The baby picked the Patriots, Mama choosing the Falcons. Maybe the game will end at a tie.
No, so their odds got worse.
That's 100%. They're going to be right.
That's a push.
They're going to be right.
We do realize they know nothing about football.
football. They know nothing about football. And honestly,
Wait, what
4
happened,
out
like-
of 7?
What,
I am
what
not
happened to like
impressed.
the
4 to 7 ain't
octopus?
bad.
You know, there was like some monkeys that were doing it. Clearly, rhinos know nothing about football.
Hey,
The
man,
octopus was out of control.
we still
was
got a
good.
few more
Octopus
days.
is
There's
good.
still some animals that
I
can
trust
weigh
that
in.
octopus.
I want the squirrel
him.
on a surfboard to pick the winner.
That's right. We'll see you back here
That'd be
tomorrow.
See ya. Improving Hawaii's homeless situation by keeping people off the street. KITV's Brenton Awa explains why some lawmakers want to continue paying the rent for some folks who are on the verge of eviction.
My reason for going to visit Syria was really because of the suffering of the Syrian people that has been weighing heavily on my heart.
Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard making international headlines after a secret trip to Syria. There, she met with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. And that's where we pick up our live Civil Beat segment. Joining us today, journalist Chad Blair. And we're talking about Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Now, there's an online petition asking for her removal from 2 House committees. Chad, who is leading this charge and why?
Well, it's a woman who says she's from Haleiwa, and she and others are upset that Gabbard went on this trip. And
What has Gabbard said in response to the criticism of her trip to Syria so far?
well, she's very strongly defensive and hopefully come up with a way to have peace in the region.
All right, back to the petition. Is there any real threat that momentum could be gathered and what they're asking in that petition could be carried out?
You know, it seems like a stretch, Mike. Even though about 200 people now have signed it, I should also tell you there's another online petition. This one is urging Tulsi to run for president in 2020.
That's interesting as well. Chad, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Such an interesting read. If you want to read the entire article, go to civilbeat.org. Yunji, back to you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Bring some gusty winds to you early on Monday.
All right, so weekend, enjoy it early and then hunker down a little bit.
Yeah, I think
later
late in the
on.
weekend, yeah, maybe clean up the yard just a bit.
Hey, everybody's
right.
going to be inside watching the Super Bowl anyway, right?
That's
That's
a good
true.
point.
There'll be no cleaning up of the yard.
Time to talk sports now with Robert Kikawa. Well, Super Bowl Sunday, as you mentioned, it's this weekend, and tonight we're getting a behind-the-scenes look at the factory where those coveted game balls are made. Wilson Sporting Goods is located in the small town of Ada, Ohio. The company's been making the NFL football since 1955, and every one of the 51 Super Bowls since. And like Times Square drops a lighted ball on New Year's Eve, the town of Ada will drop a large football Saturday night during its football festival.
Got to celebrate.
That is pretty cool.
That is something to brag
Yeah.
about. Well, we've got another half hour of Island News ahead.
If you're just joining us, we've got all the day's top stories right now. The State Agriculture Department will destroy a shipment of coffee plants that were delivered to the Home Depot in Lehue, Kauai this week. This as the invasive coffee berry borer beetle continues to threaten the state's coffee farms. The beetle has been detected on the Big Island, Oahu, and Maui. Agricultural officials believe the shipment may have come from Oahu. But coffee plants from islands infested with the beetle are restricted from being transported to uninfested islands. No beetles were found on the plants on Kauai. Well, the Supreme Court takes on whether Christopher Deedy should have a third trial 6 years after the death of Colin Elderton, has you talking on our social media pages. In 2011, Elderts was shot and killed at a Waikiki McDonald's. Deedy pulled the trigger but said he did so in self-defense. The first trial of Christopher Deedy ended in a hung jury. A second jury acquitted him but couldn't agree on the lesser charges of reckless manslaughter and assault. His lawyers appealed the decision for a third trial on the basis of double jeopardy, arguing the prosecutors abandoned the manslaughter charge. The Supreme Court justices are expected to issue a decision at a later date. So you're weighing in, and Michael Garcia says he's not for a third trial, saying wasting our tax money on something they can't prove. Move on already. While Jason Gill thinks otherwise, adding, you can't go around Oahu drunk with a loaded gun, kill someone, and think that's okay. While Rod Bridgers thinks there's a deeper root to the problem, saying had the prosecutor been Akamai, they would have sought the jury instruction on the lesser included charge of manslaughter in the first trial. But by ruling that there was no evidence to support the lesser included charge of manslaughter, double jeopardy can be invoked to prevent Deedy from being tried for manslaughter. We deserve better from the prosecutor's office. He is currently still working as an agent in Washington, D.C. Log on to our Facebook page and tell us what you think about this story. Yunji, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mike.
I'm actually planning a wedding now, so the timing couldn't be more perfect to help me pay for the wedding this December, so I'm really excited.
Wonderful to see them recognized, and I bet his fiance is just as happy as he is.
Oh, man, talk about a great present.
It's going to be a nice wedding. Wonderful to see.
All right, after the break, how federal workers could be getting a raise next year.
Plus,
Watching KITV Island News at 6.
To Washington now, and the White House trying to clean up after President Donald Trump.
Yeah, sources saying he grew angry during a phone call with Australia's Prime Minister. He also sent a tweet calling the Obama administration's refugee agreement with Australia a, quote, dumb deal. That deal would allow around 1,600 mostly Muslim refugees to resettle in the U.S.
A previous administration does something, you have to respect that.
Trump was asked about the deal today and said, we'll see what happens. But White House Secretary Sean Spicer confirms the president will ultimately honor the deal and ensure that proper vetting takes place. And Ben & Jerry's is making it easier to eat ice cream on the go. The company introducing a new novelty treat called Pint Slices. It's a handheld ice cream bar full of candy chunks. Big fan already. 4 of the company's top-selling flavors have been sliced into bars and covered in chocolate. You can find chocolate chip cookie dough, chocolate fudge brownie, vanilla peanut butter cup, and a Americone Dream in grocery stores. Hard to read that one because I'm basically salivating while I'm thinking about those nice ice cream slices.
This is basically an ice cream sandwich minus the sandwich, right? The sandwich is replaced with
the best part.
With chocolate.
It's the ice cream.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a mess unless you eat it real fast.
It's going to be fun to clean up. All right.